we're ready just as soon as y'all are able to go back. Of course, jokingly, is there any way I can come to your house, and stuff like that, which we know it's not going to happen, but it's all in good fun.
It's Aaron Lovett, and I'm here with Vanessa Haley of Daisy's Place Salon here in Smyrna. Vanessa, you want to talk to us?
Hey, thanks for having me. I am actually, of course, I'm with Daisy's Place Salon. I am the esthetician, makeup artist, social guru, so to speak, I guess, if you want to call it that. And of course, I do everything that has to do with skincare, waxing, makeup, all the fun accessories that go with hair. So.
Okay, great. How long have you been doing that?
I've actually been an esthetician for 11 years now. I've been a makeup artist for a little over 16 years.
Tell us a bit about how the current situation has affected you, because I know any business that required personal touch is heavily affected. So tell us where you were a month ago and then where you are now.
Well, whenever the COVID-19 really first started kind of rearing its head, they were talking about social distancing, making sure that you were wiping everything down. And of course, at the salon, we're under heavy guidelines to begin with as far as sanitation and all of that. So of course, we were doing that within abundance, trying to maintain a little bit of normalcy, trying to keep our clients coming while still just paying attention. Then, of course, whenever they talked about the social distancing, we started doing the guidelines we adjusted our schedules so that there were only a couple of us working at a time so that we could keep it under 10 people in the salon and, maintain social distance while, of course, still doing all the disinfecting and sanitizing. Then once the governor mandated for everybody to close, of course, it was kind of an instantaneous thing. You didn't really have time to adjust or, allot for it at all. Fortunately for myself personally, I'm one of the luckier ones. I'm married and we do have a little bit of a savings account to the side, and my husband actually works for a truck line. So he's still deemed an essential worker and is still working at this point. Several of the other ladies, though, that's not necessarily the case for them. There's, and of course, there's some, not even just with Daisy's Place, but with several of the other local salons. You have a lot of single moms trying to take care of kids. And of course, there's been delays on being able to get any kind of help. But it's definitely made a difference. I am bored out of my mind right now.
Oh, no. What are you doing to entertain yourself these days?
Well, my poor husband looks at me like I'm crazy whenever he comes home in the evening and he says, well, what did you do today? And I'm like, well, I cleaned out this closet and I readjusted this room and took a whole bunch of stuff to the dump. And he gets a really frightened look on his face.
That's so funny. I've got a number of friends who are stylists, estheticians, massage therapists, and I'm watching their social media, and I can tell what they're cleaning out their houses, and they're organizing and putting stuff on Facebook Marketplace. It's like, okay, yeah, you've got no work. That stinks. That's really, really lousy, but you're making good use of your time.
Yeah, right. Well, I've joked. I was telling HG the other day that while I've said for many years that I don't really have time to clean the house, and that's not necessarily the case. I really just don't want to.
There you go. You make time for what's important, right? Yeah. Well, so this is where we are now, and the future for you and for Daisy's Place is to open back up. What are you looking forward to? How's that going to work out?
Oh, just whenever we are able to finally get reopened, we're hoping that it's only another week or so. We were closed last week, and we've been closed this week, of course, as part of the governor's request to have the official shutdown for 2 weeks. We're waiting at this point to see if that's going to be extended past the 2-week period, and then of course we'll comply with that as requested. From that point, all of our clients, everyone right now is just on hold. They're reaching out to us. They're letting us know, we're ready just as soon as y'all are able to go back. Of course, jokingly, is there any way I can come to your house, and stuff like that, which we know it's not going to happen, but it's all in good fun. But they're ready just as soon as we're ready to go back, and we have everything ready to go just as soon as he gives the okay.
I can imagine that there'll be a big push. There are lots of people that they need personal services, and they've needed them for a while now, right? I'm one of those. Although I did my sideburns in the side of my head the other day just to because I was feeling shaggy. But do you think that when things are lifted, you'll go back to where you were 2 weeks ago and have limited people inside the salon and try to keep things separate? Or do you think that at that point it'll just be like it was business as usual?
I feel fairly certain that whenever the governor does lift the complete shutdown, that there will still need to be a few mandates in place just to kind of ease back into it. Because if we just go back to normal everyday life, you're probably still going to see a little spike in spread. Now, personally, we have ways of working around that. But even at that, most of the girls are so ready to get back to work. It's everybody's just working together to make sure that, okay, I'm working these days, these hours. And, everybody's been great about trying to work with us. Of course, when they're off work themselves, it makes it a whole lot easier to try to do that too.
Yeah, good. So what can you tell us as far as what can we do? How can we help?
Well, really and truly, it's kind of funny in this industry because, generally speaking, you're paying for services at the time of the service. It's not really beneficial. I shouldn't say it's not beneficial. It is beneficial in a sense to the ladies who are really hurting right now, who, didn't necessarily have a sizable nest egg to sit on, who are trying to cover rent, trying to cover, food for their families, to go ahead and prepay for a service. But what I have seen is something called a virtual tip jar. And I've been kind of playing around with the link. I did find it just by Googling virtual tip jar, and you're able to pull up Nashville and plug your information into it as far as a recipient. So I've kind of been playing around with that. But what I would really recommend for people to look for is look for that from your stylist. And instead of prepaying for a service, because what's going to happen with that is they go ahead and get the service money now, but then they need it later too. Mm-hmm. So instead of prepaying, you're tipping them on the service that would have happened, and then paying for the service at the time and not tipping them at the time that the service happens. Does that make sense?
It does. You're taking a lump sum and you're spreading it out a little bit.
Correct. So you're giving them a little something that they can work with and actually have to, go buy a meal or put gas in the tank if they're needing to get somewhere, or to help with the light bill or water bill, what have you. But then, of course, whenever it comes time to do their actual service, you're still paying for the service as well. So that's something, like I said, I've been kind of working with that and just playing with it. I've seen a couple of stylists add it to their Instagram page. I haven't quite figured out how to do that just yet. I think you can put a link in your profile that will take you to it. I put a link up on my Facebook page just to test it, just to see, what it looked like when it popped up. But that would be my best recommendation. Or if your stylist, you know that they keep a lot of product that you normally would purchase, like from Ulta or somewhere like that, call them and let them know, hey, I'm running out of shampoo, I'm running out of product, styling, whatever, and they can do like a curbside pickup for you. Or
fantastic. Okay. I actually left my hair stuff at a hotel a month ago.
Oh!
And I've just, I mean, I'm a guy, I don't care, whatever. But now that I'm on camera, I might want to have it.
Look, this is the first time I've had makeup on in a week, so
That's funny. Can you give me the link to that so that I can connect it down here in the video somewhere?
I can send it to you after we get off. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Thank you. That's very helpful. It's good to know that we can do a virtual tip and not necessarily prepay for services, but actually tip now, service and pay later. That would be helpful. That's good to know. Thank you.
Definitely.
Okay. Is there a way to do a gift certificate? Would that be helpful too, to maybe give to somebody who hasn't used your services before?
Oh, that's absolutely. Gift certificates are always a great thing. And of course, we keep those at the salon, but we can also do them virtually, kind of create one and send over if you're wanting to just kind of email one to a friend or whatnot. So those are always helpful.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Well, thank you very much. I've got a few quick questions for you just to round out the conversation. First of all, what do you like to read? What favorite book? What are you reading these days?
Well, generally speaking, I read just a lot of different articles online, so to speak.
Okay.
When I sit down to read a book, I love reading, but I get so relaxed when I do it that it puts me to sleep. So it's something kind of quick and succinct, and just kind of take it and roll with it. When I do read though, I do have some devotionals that I work on every so often, and we'll spend a little bit of time in those, trying to finish up a couple that we've done at church over the last couple of times. And I get behind because at night when I get home, of course I sit down to read and it makes me sleepy, so then I get behind and I have to catch up. So now it's been a good time to catch up on those as well. But other than that, just really working on different things and trying to find solutions.
Okay. You're not reading too much news, are you? That'll drive you crazy.
No.
Okay, good. What is your favorite local hangout? Where do you like to go?
Oh, gosh. Of course, I love going to Carpe Cafe. That's been a favorite for several years. I do enjoy going to the Casual Pint every once in a while. Their pretzels with beer cheese are just amazing. Anything with beer cheese is pretty amazing.
That's right.
Do that, right? Let's see. Other than that, I'm pretty much a homebody.
Yeah, me too. I understand. That's okay. Let's see. Do you have a hidden talent, or alternatively, what is a talent that you wish you had that you don't currently possess?
Oh, well, I don't currently possess this, but I've always wanted to learn how to play the drums.
Okay.
My son says I'm terrible at air drumming, but
Okay, play the drums. Interesting.
Probably help me with that. I just haven't jumped in yet.
I think in my conversation with Ron Alley at Carpe Artista, he had said that they're looking at Zoom and virtual music lessons and all kinds of stuff. Why not?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to jump in. If this lasts much longer, I'm gonna have to do something.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wants to learn a language or learn a new skill or whatever, now's the time, right? You've got no excuses.
Right.
I say no excuses. Honestly, with our family, we've got 3 little kids. That's a full-time job for the 2 of us right now anyway.
Exactly. Just keeping them occupied and, out of trouble, and, you're out of your normal routine. So it's terrible. I'm one of the fortunate ones. Mine's actually grown. He still lives at home, but he pretty much takes care of himself. So that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Yeah, we had relied a lot on just help from the grandparents, help from family. And starting about 3 weeks ago, when this started to become news, we went ahead and said, well, if it hits the older generations the hardest, then we want to protect them. And
Right.
so they've been Zooming. It's fun to watch the grandparents learn the technology, but it has affected our routine. We haven't really had that kind of support physically, but
Right.
I'll tell you what, you put the kids in front of the computer, and we had always said no screen time, no screen time, no screen time. Well, if they're interacting with another human being across the screen, that's fine.
That's a completely level of screen time. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, last question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, well, it's funny, and I've lived by this for years. But my stepdad used to tell me whenever I was younger, because I was very self-conscious about what people thought, and especially as an early preteen teenager. And I'll never forget him telling me one time, "You will stop caring what people think about you when you realize how little they actually think about you."
That's so true.
Which
It's
is
so
very
true.
true. And the older you get, the more you realize that, people are wrapped up in their own little worlds, and you just don't need to be concerned about that. So,
That's very good advice. I think especially, wow, we're in such a visual world and superficial in a lot of ways with social media. You think you think that you have a camera on you all the time, but really in our interactions with each other, there's a lot of grace, a lot of forgiveness.
oh,
Um, yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to think about that. That's very good.
yeah.
Vanessa, thank you very much. Is there anything else that you want to put out there or say to the folks that are watching this?
I just want to thank you for doing this, for being such a light to the community as a whole. This is something that really showcases and spotlights, and I didn't really even think about doing this. So when I saw you doing it the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a fantastic idea. Please don't let him ask me to do this because because it terrifies me, because that little insecure girl still worries what people think about her being on camera. But I stuck. I always forget. But no, I really do appreciate you doing this, and of course, just really trying to get the word out there to people to check those SIMA website, look for all of your local businesses. Really try hard to make sure that that you're doing what you can for them. I know this is tough for everybody right now, and so many people are at a loss, and if there's any way that we can that SIMA too, community liaison with SIMA, as well as being with Daisy's Place, which is a part of SIMA. But if there's anything that SIMA can do to help anybody to contact us, we don't always know exactly what we can do to help or the best way to help anybody. But if there's something specific that you're looking for, we may have an opportunity to be able to plug you in with someone that can make a difference too. So, anybody out there who's needing some help with anything, reach out, because somebody may have exactly what it is that you're looking for.
That's good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, that's an excellent suggestion. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well.